Hello there. Um, it's Gloria Willis. I'm wishing you a wonderful weekend and Easter holiday this weekend, if you celebrate Easter. I've been practicing with these videos, and so I'm not sure this will be perfect, but I feel like video is a really great thing to share with people now. It's a personal interaction with you, and I just wanted to find a way that I could do this. If you need to do videos, I would recommend using the same tool, which is called Loom, Loom.com, and you can easily make a video, and then it will give you copy a link. You copy the link, and then you can paste it into whatever place that you want to send it. So it's pretty simple. So I'd love for your feedback about it. I'm wondering what would be the appropriate thing to discuss today, but one of the things that comes up for me is the whole idea of managing people and what kind of a framework we can put into place that can be a little bit easier. You know, one of the question is about decisions with people. Should I fire them or should I not fire them? What should I do? I'm at wit's end about that. And let me just say that managing people is not an easy thing. It takes a while to learn it, and then you're always dealing with new people. So there's no one right answer for every single situation. But let me just lay out a little bit of a framework for you that if you were to put this into place, you would have less concern over your decisions. They would be made more for you. Based on the framework that you've established. The first step might be that you actually interview the person before you hire them. Now, you don't always get to do that. Sometimes people are just sent to you, but if you have the opportunity to interview them, whether before they're hired or even just shortly after they're hired, what you want to do is find out who they are, where they're coming from, what kind of experience they have, what do they really like to do, what are they looking for in a job, all those kinds of things. You want to hear that really fully. What do they want? What's going to make the biggest difference for them? And then you want to review what it is that your job really needs in terms of a person. What kind of things are most important to you? What are deal breakers? What kind of skills will make the biggest difference? And what kind of opportunities do you have within your organization to help somebody who's a real go-getter actually progress through your company? So those are some of the kinds of things that you want to ask. When I was saying that, I was thinking of myself as a food service, actually a director of food service in a big healthcare corporation. And we almost had like an open door of people that we would interview over and over because people came, they'd stay for 2 weeks, and they'd leave. You'd interview more people, they'd come for 2 weeks or 1 week or 2 days, and then they'd leave. Or they wouldn't show up, or numbers of different things. It wasn't really what they were looking for. So in those instances, it's important to let people know exactly what they're getting into with this particular job. It's repetitive, it's hard work, you have to lift heavy things. Whatever it is, you want to paint a picture of what it's really going to look like for them, as well as what's really positive about the job that you offer. I had one guy who he was actually a supervisor. He had moved up from the tray line to being a supervisor, and he had a lot of potential. And at one point, he really wanted to get into a better job, and I was able to help him move from within the same company to a different location on the West Coast. And he loved it. He was really pleased to be able to do that. that came out of working with him for a while and seeing what his intentions were and how good he was. And I have no doubt he's probably a food service director at this point in time. So I was able to help somebody move through that kind of a progress within a company. Those kind of movements are not always possible. And many times you can find a way for someone to progress. So you just have to listen to the person and then be somewhat flexible yourself. Also let them know what the limitations are of the job. You have to be here every day at 6 o'clock. If you're not, it's not going to work. If you're not a morning person, if you can't get here at 6 o'clock, I'll have to hire somebody else. We have later shifts. You could come and be in the dish room at 5 o'clock. Those kinds of things. But what I'm saying is you get to know the person up front before they even start. You know your job well enough. You know what kind of is possible within your company, and they make sure that they know what that is. And then watch what happens. You're going to watch what happens. How do they get along with other people? Are they there on time? What's their attitude like? All those kinds of things. If you see something that's a potential problem, they have pretty negative attitude, then that's the point at which you want to pull them aside right away and say, I've just been watching and listening to you, and your attitude could get you into real trouble here. This is not a good place to be talking down about various things. So I'm going to ask you to refrain from that kind of dialogue and talking here on the job. Outside of the job, on your breaks, okay, but not on the job. Okay, so that's considered like a little pinch, okay? It's not a warning. It's a verbal warning in a way. And if it keeps happening, then that's when you would write a written warning about this is something we spoke about before. This is no longer acceptable. This is not acceptable here in this company. And this person has continued to do this. You explain it to him again or her, and you get their signatures. So you have 2 signatures on there, and you have a date, and you have what happened. Okay? Now, if something else, if they continue to do it more, then you would write a second written warning. You've already warned them once verbally, you've warned them once in writing, and if it continues to happen, you need to write another warning. And what you'll end that warning with is if this happens again, you are going to be let go. We can't have it here. And here's the reason why. It brings the morale down for everybody. It causes us to make mistakes. And people aren't attracted to this kind of a situation. So I'd like to know what you're thinking about this, if that's something that you're willing to change. All right, so then you go back. You've shared the whole thing with them. You've listened to what they said. Now you watch, you wait, and you see what happens from there. If you see progress, you want to pull them over and you want to say, thank you. I see progress. You have done this, this, and this towards what we talked about, and I really appreciate it. I want you to know. And so if it goes the other way and they continue to do what they're doing, they miss work or whatever like that, then you'll have to decide, is this more of a detriment to my company than it is an advantage? Knowing that we are oftentimes in slim pickings with qualified people, that's a decision that you have to make. But you don't, as a supervisor, want to be someone that lets all kinds of these negative things pass you by. You want to bring them to the attention of people. So that's how you handle the one-on-one. If you see a way that you can bring this up in a meeting without bringing up anybody's name, but just saying, here at XYZ company, it's important for us to keep the morale up here, and these are some things we're doing to help do that. We want to reward you for being here every day, and look for ways that you can do that. But you could have a team meeting and you could talk about the things that you're seeing. I made a big mistake in my very first job as a first-time supervisor. I actually fired somebody who was a intermediate manager. Excuse me. I didn't have enough information to fire her. I just didn't really like her very much. And I didn't think she fit with my management style, which I had really not developed at that point. I didn't have a management style. And I let her go. Rather than working with her and getting to know her, I know now in my heart, if I would have taken the time to work with her and say, hey, here's the strengths that I see you have. And there's just a couple of things that seem to trigger me a little bit about you. And here's one of them, and here's what I would like to request from you. I'd like to see us work together. I'd like this to work out between the two of us. And this is the beginning of what it is to work with people. What works with people better than anything else is being genuine, being sincere, and being appreciative. Being appreciative goes a long way, and we don't ever know when we hire somebody the kind of home life that they have at home, what kind of experiences they've had in their past, any of that. We're bringing that into our company. And sometimes it plays out in a negative sort of a way. But we really want to, as I said, be genuine and be appreciative that they came each day. They're doing their best. And every time we appreciate them more, they're even going to do better. They really will. So those are my thoughts today about supervision and working with people. I would love to have your comments if you think these things would work in your company, and any experiences that you've had that would lend light to anybody who's right now dealing with some difficult people. So with that, I say thank you for tuning in today. I hope you have a great weekend and be safe. Take good care of yourself. Okay?